Disclaimer: the following program features language not suitable for all audiences, and the expressed opinions found within this program are a reflection of those who feature on the PopCulture Effect podcast. Welcome to the PopCulture Effect. I'm Rockin Rob, and on this show, I bring my closest friends together to talk about all the news happening in our pop culture world around us.
Heyo, I'm Subset. I'm here with two of my greatest friends, Rob Lobster.
I am here and not dead.
And Menace.
Hello.
And today we have a lot to talk about. Not a lot, but a lot of interesting things to talk about. I'm sure other people have covered it before us, but time, scheduling, all that.
Now for this week, I've got two games I'm really excited to talk about, but the first one I really couldn't wait to discuss, so I'm talking about it now, and that is Mecha Break. Now, for those of you that are unaware, this is a Gundam-style game where you pilot giant robots to fight other giant robots. Now, the one thing that this game does differently is most other Gundam or mech-based fighting games kind of make things very linear and very restrictive in where you're able to move and what you're able to access, but this game opens up the play field, the arena, so that you can destroy anything, you can fly anywhere, go anywhere, and it just feels a lot more fluid, and I feel like this game is a lot more replayable due to that fact. Now, speaking of which, you can play as a lot of different mechs, as there is one pretty much for every type of playstyle, whether you're a sniper, whether you're a tank or a support, or whether you're a melee or a gun-based brawler. There's pretty much a Gundam for whatever type of style you want to play as, but in these game modes, they do a really good job at making stuff feel very diverse, as you have a lot of different stuff to do, whether it's domination, a different style of tug-of-war based search and destroy, or a payload game mode, which is really fun because there are two payloads in play, so you'll have to make sure your payload is being pushed forward, but also try to sabotage the enemies. Now, there are a few more game modes to discuss, but the one thing I really want to talk about is the extraction game mode. Yes, they fit an entire extraction game mode into this game as well, and it really feels fluid with how everything else feels, with how you're able to pilot your mech, go around the map, get your shit, and get out. And I'm really excited to see how this game goes long term, because my one problem with a game like Gundam Evolution is they kind of overly put their time and effort into monetizing the game and making sure it was just play to win, essentially. Now, Mecha Break is free to play, however, there doesn't seem to be a lot of microtransactions, mostly just cosmetic stuff. However, there is 3 other mechs you can purchase in separate individual packs, and I'm not sure what the post-launch will be for this game, if they'll add in new game modes, new mechs to buy, new maps potentially, but this has definitely been a fun game to go in with my friends and play around with, and just really kind of relax and just get enveloped in a game, because I feel a lot of the times with these competitive games it gets kind of too serious and too sweaty, to put it lightly, and this game does have its sweats, don't get me wrong, but at least with how it feels to play, it's not as detrimental as, say, like a Call of Duty lobby or something more competitive like that. You can hop into this game for a couple games and not really feel that defeat if you do lose. It kind of just incentivizes you to hop back in so you can pilot your mech again. At least from me personally, this is my personal experience. But it has been a really fun game to play, and like I said, my hope is that the community doesn't ruin it, and that the people behind the game focus on quality of content over just overtly putting, hey, pay money, make your mech look good, or pay money to get best mech, because that is the worst type of game model, because that will kill your game immediately. Cough, cough, Gundam Evolution, cough, cough. Man, I really miss that game. I wish it would come back. Now, the one final detail I want to put in is the fact that the character customization for your little guy that pilots the mech is very expansive. You can make some pretty creepy creations and pretty monstrous designs in it. I'm actually very surprised with how in-depth and how detailed the character creator system is in this game. But obviously the one point where they really pulled back on the budget is in the lobby section where you're just kind of having your character walk around the overworld like you would see in like Destiny 2. We know where the budget went. It went to the high octane action, gameplay effects, and just overall presentation of the game. But that's pretty much everything I have to discuss when it comes to Mecha Break. It is free for all platforms, so go out of your way to play it because it is a really fun time. But I think at this point, it's time for me to send it back to me and my friends as we discuss Marvel Tōkon Fighting Souls.
Seems like we're following a trend here. From going to one fighter, we're going to the next. Robbie, mind telling us about the next fighter that's coming up?
Well, this fighter, to kind of like call back to my referencing of Spider-Man, we've got a Marvel 2D fighter as we've got Marvel Tōkon Fighting Soul, and it's an anime fighting game. Right after we get Marvel Rivals, we get a Marvel vs. Capcom-esque fighting game that is going to take heavy anime influence from all the other anime fighting games we just talked about, but also all of the shit that we've seen in the plethora of Marvel vs. Capcom, Marvel vs. whatever other series we've seen throughout the years. And I am really excited to see this type of thing because I feel like we've gotten like we've been kind of spoiled with all these fighting games we've been talking about in the last Invincible versus Talking Point. But so this game provides a little bit of extra depth because it is a 4-on-4 as opposed to the 3-on-3 usual format, and this game heavily relies on team play and structuring your team to what you like, to what works well with what. And the roster is pretty
we should preface when we say like 3-on-3 fighter, 4-on-4, we don't mean 3 players, we mean you pick 4 characters
a team
for your
of
team.
3 that you pick.
But in this one it's a team of 4, unlike the traditional 3 characters.
And at least right now, there have not been a lot of like heroes announced for it. There's only been the main roster of Captain America, Doctor Doom, Iron Man, Miss Marvel, Spider-Man, Star-Lord, Storm, and
Spider-Man's the GOAT. Ah.
Okay, yes, he's going to be the GOAT as he is in every game. But
I don't know, that Ghost Rider looks pretty dope.
That's
he
what I
looks
was going to
dope,
get
but
to.
not as good as Spider-Man.
I saved him for last, but Robbie Reyes' Ghost Rider is going to be in this game, and that is something I'm interested in because I was always a fan of the Nicolas Cage interpretation of the OG Ghost Rider, but in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., I'm pretty sure, and like in the comics, he's pretty cool. For those of you that don't know, he is just a kid living on the streets in the suburbs, in like the ghetto, if you want to call it that.
Represent.
And he essentially has to take on a spirit of vengeance to help his brother. It's a really great story. I definitely suggest looking into it. But I have been begging for Ghost Rider to be in Marvel Rivals, so I am frothing at the mouth to be able to play as a Ghost Rider in a game. But what I want to say about this game, the art style is beautiful, as we've always seen with all these fighters. The ultimates are very expressive. It looks to be a really cool fighter, but I want them to do a different roster than what we have in Marvel Rivals. And I know that might be a weird position to take, but I want to see stuff in this game that we don't already have in Marvel Rivals, if that makes sense.
In terms of characters, I can get it, because we have a lot of characters in this franchise, and we don't really see a lot of those characters.
We need all the movie characters, because the movie characters make money.
Okay, yeah, we're gonna get the freaking Fantastic Four, obviously, and
I don't know.
the mainstays that I listed off, but again... Oh, go ahead.
I need a question, or I have a question that I need you to answer. Who is making this game?
Ooh, that is a good question.
'Cause this says a lot when it comes to fighters.
So the studio that's behind it is the publisher. I'm stupid. I don't know how game design or game companies work. The publisher behind this game is Arc System Works. And if you are unaware of who those are, they are the people that make a lot of fighting games. They make a ton of fighting games, actually, like Dragon Ball Fighter Z, Guilty Gear Strive, Blaze Blue, Kill la Kill, and just so many more. So I have a lot of hope in this game.
This makes me actually Really? Okay, never mind.
If I remember, there were also the headliners who made the King of Fighters franchise.
I just want to say as a side point, I love how
Maybe. I could be wrong.
I love how when we were talking about Invincible, we were like, yeah, it was pretty much a Fighter Z game, and now this one, it's literally made by the same people that made Dragon Ball Fighters.
Yeah, but they also make like some of the best competitive fighting games ever.
Right? I feel like this game is in good hands, and at least as we've seen, Guilty Gear Strive is a very long-running series, and so is Blaze Blue.
Let's just hope the mouse doesn't have his fingers too deep in it.
Dude, he's got his fingers into everything.
I'm saying this now.
About.
I want more arcade machines of these games everywhere.
Yeah, dude.
They do that.
Oh,
it's just
that's
not
a
in
whole other
America.
Talking point we could discuss.
I know, I'm aware.
A reawakening of arcade games. I feel like that's more of a discussion rather than
No,
news.
like they have newer like actual video games that are in arcades in other countries.
Oh,
They're
really?
just not in America. Yeah, like they
Oh,
put
yeah,
like
'cause
new
'cause-
games
Because US and Canada don't get the cool shit. I'm just gonna say it. No, but
because
this...
we'd have to pay them, not them pay us.
Yeah, right?
And that yeah.
No, but this...
Sorry,
No, you're fine. You're fine.
Fine.
I'm just nerding out about this game because, God, it's gonna be. Because I feel like so many times with these 2D fighters, I'm like not necessarily interested in like putting my time into learning it, and like because I'm more of a 3D open world, like open playing field fighter. I like being able to move around a lot
I'm
more.
gonna tell you if it is like Blaze Blue and stuff, there may be transitions between stages. There may
That's what I
be,
was
like,
thinking.
There's gonna be combos where you can like switch between the characters and go into other combos. 'cause
Okay,
you
well,
can
the
do that.
staging switching is already confirmed. He showed it in the gameplay.
But that's what I want to say is that like this game looks to break the cycle of like Mortal Kombat and Street Fighter. I know there are some examples where there is
Hey,
alternate
Mortal Kombat
ways
and
to
Street
fight.
Fighter have been doing very good recently.
No, I'm not knocking them, but I will say just as a small point for Mortal Kombat, they're completely done with their content. They're moving on. Like they're not doing any more.
Well,
They've announced it,
they just did a fresh reboot for Mortal Kombat.
which means they're probably going to be working on Mortal Kombat 2.
Mm-hmm.
And then we'll get to another 10, and then it'll be Mortal Kombat 20, but they'll call it Mortal Kombat 10 or Mortal Kombat XX.
No, I think they're just gonna redo. They're gonna start the number over again.
Yep,
But that's a discussion
it's
for a
just
different
cycle. Yeah, but going back to the Marvel game, I just am so excited to see what the other characters are going to look like with this new art style. As I said, I want them to try to branch out to, because the Marvel universe is so goddamn big. You have so many goddamn people you could pull from villains, anti-heroes, heroes. Like, you don't have to always do the same 12, you know? Like, where are any of the Midnight Suns? I know we literally just got that as a roguelike RPG. I think it was a roguelike RPG in the style of like Marvel Ultimate Alliance. But where's Morbius? I know Morbin Time
Isn't
was a meme.
Danny-
It was a horrible meme, but
Isn't that Ghost Rider part of the Midnight Suns?
yes, but that's what I'm saying. I want more of it. I'm very happy to see Ghost Rider. It is a very good start, but I want them to dig deep into the history of the Marvel universe because there is so much you can pull from instead of just the shit that everybody knows and is expected to know.
But those arbitrary characters aren't gonna bring new people into play.
That is true. From a business standpoint, they're still going to go with the most popular and the ones that are on the billboards for the movies, TV shows. They'll probably do some cross-promotion between Marvel Rivals and Marvel Tōkon, most likely. Oh my god, I just realized they could probably do Marvel Tōkon skins in Marvel Rivals, and now, oh my god, I want Sentai Iron Man.
Stop.
Sorry.
I wonder if this game is to kind of jab back at the whole DC alternate universe thing that they're doing, where they're set in Japan and doing the whole anime style thing.
Maybe. I feel like they only did that for Batman, though, right?
No, they had it to where it's like right now they're with the new episodes or seasons or movies. I don't know what it is. I haven't looked into it very much, but they have like Batman, Nightwing, Robin, Harley, Joker, the Flash. Like the Flash was a bad guy for a minute in there in scenes that I've seen, and they had to stop him because he was like being mind controlled or something.
Now, aside from talking about the old 2018 Batman Ninja movie, I can't forget to mention the more recent example of DC anime, which was the Suicide Squad Isekai, and you should definitely go check that out because it was really cool. I mean, that is a good point to bring up, but I think that might just be coincidence at this point, because
I know, and it's also the rise of like anime
I was
and
just about to get to
other
that, like,
it's
because I'm pretty
all
sure
that.
they have a Avengers anime, actually, now that I'm thinking about it.
more than likely.
But it is, I will say, it is nutty that we're getting Doctor Doom in this game before Marvel Rivals. I don't know how to feel about that.
Because he's a main antagonist of the series, Bobber. I told you he's not going to be a playable character, and probably until his story's done.
Oh no, they're gonna do it when they do Doomsday. That's what they're gonna do.
What?
Like they're
not doing comic book stories. They're doing their own story for this. It started off with Doom fighting Doom 2055 or 2099, and then Doom went and fought Dracula, or he gave Dracula a Chronos Stone, and he infused it with blood magic, and then Doom came in, beat him up, and took it. And
I was just
then
thinking that, like,
Doom, and in this recent season, Doom helped Emma set up the Hellfire Gala, and he didn't. He either knows or didn't know that Ultron was there. I think in the one I read, he actually like let Doom Ultron out or some shit like that.
I just think like I said, from a business perspective, when we get to Avengers Doomsday, they may even just be like, all right, well, here's Doctor Doom as a character now.
I can
Whenever
see that.
happens. In 2026, or if it gets delayed again. But no, to like at least going back to the 2D fighter, I just am really happy that we aren't, because they could have just done like a typical Marvel, but they went expressive. They went alternative with the anime style that they went with. And I feel like this is going to provide a way that they can really be expressive with these characters. Because if you haven't seen the ultimates of these characters, Jesus Christ, they are like Dragon Ball sparking levels of like over the top, bombastic.
I just want to know how you're
effects
gonna
everywhere.
block any of these, because they take up the entire screen.
Oh, I'm sure that's actually a good thing. I hope that there's like a block grab, maybe parry system in this game. Like, I hope it is more tech-based rather than just, it's mash button, switch characters, mash button, hit ultimate. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I bet you that's gonna be like the base. The base thing is mash button, switch characters, but there is gonna be like a higher skill level of like actually learning the different combos for each character, like switching into those different combos.
And who knows, there may even be like high-low, medium moves like Subset was talking about for Killer Instinct before. One thing I do want to ask you guys is, what characters do you want to see in this 2D environment?
I mean, gotta go with my boy Deadpool.
You will always say Deadpool. That will always be your boy. He's my boy too, so I get it. How about you,
But
Subset?
imagine like him doing Katana Rama just in the 2D space.
But he would also be a teleporty bitch, wouldn't he?
Depends. He doesn't need his teleporting belt.
He'd be bamfing all over the... well, no, that'd be Nightcrawler. I'm not even thinking about any of the X-Men. I just said Storm, and that was it. We could see Nightcrawler. We could see Cyclops. Oh...
Subset.
And he's dead.
No, I had to fix my mic. My bad.
Oh, no, you're good, you're good. But no,
So
Subset...
what characters are you looking forward to,
Yeah.
Subset?
Everybody.
You want it to be Smash Bros? You want to have an everyone is here moment?
Yes, I want everybody to shine.
But like, obviously you got your boy Spider-Man. What are like...
No, that's it, dude.
Other...
That's it? You don't
Not
want
even
anybody
like
else?
Penny. You don't want like Penny to show up or like any other.
She's in
Spider-Man
Marvel
one?
Rivals.
I know, but I'm saying like you don't want like what Spider-Zero could be a character. I know she's in Marvel Rivals, but she's not in Marvel Rivals. Could have like Miguel be a character.
Miguel, yeah, but they're just having different forms of the Spider Family.
Yeah,
Miguel would be
that's
more of
kinda
a
like
bruiser
one-
type character.
Miguel's got different tech and stuff that he could use, and then you could have Miles, and he could be like his comic book self and have the fucking Venom sword.
Actually, that's one thing I want to say. I
Venom
think
sword.
it
Yeah,
might
so
be-
he makes his Venom lightning. He can
Make a sword.
make swords out of it now.
Nice.
Oh yeah, he's a Jedi, dude. What do you think?
He's a Jedi.
I
No,
mean,
but-
apparently every force has to have one. The Speed Force is Wally. The Spider Force is just Miles, I guess.
How would you guys feel about them? Because I feel like this applies to a lot of different characters, but the quote unquote variant be sold as a skin rather than taking up a quote unquote character slot, and it would. And I'm not saying it would just overlay the animation, but they would like change the core of the character to be the more specific variant to what their style is, but still keep a basic like Echo, if I want to pull another Smash Bros. Reference, fighting style.
So like it would depend on the character, because like I was just saying, like Miles and Peter have two different types of movesets generally, but they're both Spider-Man.
I just feel like Spider-Men as a whole kind of use the same fighting style. It's just like maybe you could
you'd have like the Venom punches and stuff like that, and Miles has more like ranged attacks because of his electricity.
Well, yeah. So like for a base Spider-Man, his punch would just be a normal punch, but for Miles, it would be a punch, but then it would have some kind of like projectile shoot out of him.
Yeah, like I could see it like doing that where you just switch between the different Spider-Men on Spider-Man instead of having it take up more slots. That'd be more of like a condensing thing. But like making them into like mirror characters where they all have the same general moveset, I don't know. Because there are some that are different. Like Miguel would be completely different.
Yeah, he has more of like a Rush Bull type move style.
And he doesn't really use webs.
I mean, if like putting that aside, because at the end of the day, they most likely will just make them separate characters. I'm just making predictions or going into theory crafting. But
well, like I get what you mean, especially with like the Hulks. I could see.
You could have. Oh, there's so many Hulks. God. But I do want to say, because I never got to say the character I want to see. I want Green Goblin. That's my character pick.
The amount of villains they could just do from like one comic book set is
so one hero and his rogues gallery can fill up an entire season of DLC. That's what I'm saying about Marvel having a depth of roster here.
Yeah, but basing a whole... I think people would get tired of being like, oh, yep, there's a new character and 13 different villains.
No, I hear you on that. I don't know. I just want companies to utilize the IP they have access to, you know?
I know. I feel like if they are going to do it, they should have a season based on the different teams that they have. So have like a Titans season, have like a Legion of Doom season. I know that's DC, but like, you get what I mean.
Dude, actually, I take that back. I don't want Green Goblin. I want MODOK. I want Big Head.
Oh my god, why? He'd be like the cheesiest range character ever just because of how his personality is.
I'd
like sending out bots and shooting lasers. No.
No, but this game, unfortunately, is set to release next year in 2026. So whether it's a beta, we won't see any more footage for a while. But that's pretty much all I have to discuss when it comes to Marvel Tōkon Fighting Souls. Jesus, that's a little bit of a mouthful of a title now that I'm saying it out loud. I'm just hoping it's a good game. I'm hoping that they treat it right. As you said, Menace, the people behind this game have a big history in fighting games, and they do a really good job at them. So it's in good hands, hopefully. Knock on wood. Now, to end this week, I have one final game I want to discuss. It's a pretty game-heavy episode this week, but I couldn't not mention the final game in the My Hero Academia One's Justice franchise, All's Justice. Now, for those of you that are unaware, this is an arena-based fighter, and it's pretty much felt the exact same whether it was One's Justice 1 or 2, and I wouldn't be surprised if this game doesn't feel too dissimilar to the previous games. However, they are throwing a couple elements into this game to really change it up. First, of course, we're going to be seeing all of Class 1A in this game as playable characters, which I'm really excited to see how they will not only port the characters that were never in the game in the first place in, but how they will update old characters to fit with their new playstyle in this new series. Because speaking of which, this game will take place around the final war that is culminating in the anime right now and finished up in the manga quite a bit ago. It is unsure if they will bridge the gap between the second and this game, or if that will be treated as just flashbacks or potentially DLC. But from what it looks like this game is going to go full drive with making sure every part of the previous games are pushed to their absolute limit. And to do that, they are adding a few new mechanics. First, there's a tag mechanic, so you can finally tag in and out with characters, make team comps, and actually be able to lab out specific character switch out combos, which I feel like is going to really liven up the tournament gameplay and just the gameplay online and on couch. Just overall, it'll improve stuff and make stuff more diverse. And who knows, maybe they'll go go the Demon Slayer 2 route and give everybody team ults, which would be so cool, especially with how much we see characters interact into the show. But the other thing they're adding to this game is what they're calling a rising mechanic. Now, apparently this is going to be a buff, but it is unclear if it will act the same across all characters or if it will be utilized different depending on what character uses it. Now, I'm really excited to see how they will go about this game and the story. It's going to look amazing. The cutscenes look to be a head above anything else we've seen in the previous games, so it's going to be kind of to the same vein as Bleach Rebirth of Souls, where we're going to get a pretty expansive story mode, but they are going to take the visuals and just crank them up to 11. Now, my one kind of hopeful, wishful thinking is that we will get some semblance of an install in the game across all characters, i.e. a quirk enhancement or quirk evolution mechanic, just to liven up every character, give them a second play style, and really just juice them up for the final third of the match. But it'll be really interesting how they take the character roster size of this, because there's so much you could choose from Mirako to Lady Nagant to pretty much every character in Class 1B and the other characters that we've seen in My Hero Ultra Rumble. But that's also what Globku said on his recent roster prediction, so I can't take credit for that. And of course there's also Young All For One and Mecha Might, I'm gonna call him, which will be cool. And I can't believe I forgot to mention the characters we could see from My Hero Vigilantes, like the Slippery Boy Koichi, the Pop Star Popstep, and of course I would love to play as Knuckle Duster to box up everyone. Anyways, I haven't even covered the prequel skins we could see for all the heroes, and you know that Stain skin is going to be a heater. Now, was this whole bit just an excuse to talk about My Heroes last season and Vigilantes and the new game? Well, yeah, definitely. But again, I just hope this doesn't fall into the same pattern that the other two games were, where they come out, there's one meta, you play the one meta, and the game dies in 2 weeks. Like I've been saying for the past couple weeks about these 2D fighters, it is kind of problematic unless there's a way to switch things up. And I hope that switching characters and also this new rising mechanic can do that. But I'm also hopeful for kind of an install so we can actually see quirk evolutions. But the one thing I will admit is the ultimates are going to look godly. But at this point, there's not much else to discuss on My Hero All's Justice. As for those of you that are unaware, go watch the My Hero anime to see the final season, and obviously go check out the manga if you want to see it even sooner than that. And of course, this game does not have a release date yet, so we'll probably have to wait until next year to get our hands on it, but I'm sure it'll be a fun time. But that's pretty much everything I have to discuss when it comes to My Hero Academia All's Justice. But at this point, I think it's time for me to send it back to me and my friends to end this week's episode. That's been all that we have for this week. It's unfortunate that Blaze and Gemini were unable to join us, but they had lives, and as I've always said, life comes first.
Losers!
Yeah, losers. But yeah, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe, and check out our daily shorts that we are now posting. And be sure to check out all the lovely content that the CJSW station and website have to offer. I'd love to thank my two bros for joining me today. Thank you so much, Menace.
Oh yeah, always a good time.
And thank you, Subset. The Rap Boy returns.
I hate you.
I had to get it in. Thank you so much. We'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Heyo.